Try to imagine the simcha that we had when after 9 years of marriage, my wife and I were zeicha to have twins, a boy and a girl. Our son Yonah was a bright, sweet, caring, smart boy that attended a top yeshiva of kindergarten through 8th grade. He was always matzliach in yeshiva, and we never had any problems with his behavior or at home. He was our prince. So, as they say, it's a gut and salat. At 15 years old, approximately, he suddenly became very unhappy. He could not believe our eyes as we watched him start to spiral out of control. He became moody, chutzpahdik, he started smoking, he changed his mode of dress to street clothes, he started using foul language, and he got kicked out of yeshiva. We ended up dealing with a child who was acting exactly the opposite of his inborn sweet nature that we enjoyed throughout his childhood. And then he started using drugs and things got even worse. He became very angry, he became withdrawn and very disconnected from us. He stopped wearing tefillin and keeping Shabbos. He seemed very troubled and frustrated, but we couldn't figure out why. We tried to speak with him and get him to open up, but he would not tell us anything. He completely shut down, and eventually everything fell apart. Please try to understand the incredible pain that my wife and I had as our ben yuchid, our pride, our joy, our future completely fell apart. At this point, we didn't know how to deal with this painful situation. And many times me and my wife didn't agree on how to respond with him, which caused a lot of shalom bayis problems. I felt like I was losing my son and then losing my wife, and really, how could we ever survive this? So we did what all good and smart parents would do. We reached out to the top professionals to guide us. They advised us to be tough with him, not let him get away with acting this way. They explained that we must put our foot down and that we cannot give in to him. They explained that everyone knows that you need to wear shoes and a shirt when you go into a restaurant. We cannot let him trample on our house rules. He must be told that the world does not revolve around him. He cannot walk around the way that he wants. He cannot act the way that he wants. He cannot be out all hours of the night. He cannot mistreat us. That sure works. We must show our extreme disapproval so that he knows that we do not approve of the way he is choosing to conduct his life. We must set boundaries and limits. For example, we must lock the door at 11, and we should not open the door no matter how much he begs us to come in. Of course, we did what all good parents would do. We followed the advice of these seasoned professionals. And yes, we even locked him out of the house. But not only did it not help, it made him behave much worse. He literally got worse and we got worse. Every time we tried to deal with him in the way that they taught us, it became a huge explosion. And we found ourselves constantly in conflict with him. My son, my ben yuchid, who was once my pride and joy, literally became my enemy, and my house became a war zone. As I sit here now and think about the difficult time, I feel so much pain that it's hard to even talk. As bad as it was after we started following the advice of Klal Yisrael's top professionals, things got even worse. Our son's behavior got worse, and then unfortunately, he became a heroin addict, which, as you all know, has taken the lives of too many of our precious neshamas. At this point, we lived in constant dread that we would lose our son, both in this world and the next world. There were many days that we literally did not know if we would live through the day. I remember once driving in a car with tears streaming down my face while I was trying to put together what I would say about my son, my ben yuchid's levaya. No one should ever know what that feels like. We were lost, totally lost. At that point, we were zeicha to a miracle. Someone told us about a guy in Flatbush named Avi Fischer, who helps parents in severe crisis. The truth is that after going for help to the top professionals in the field, we really didn't believe that there could be some guy out there who's not even a licensed professional that would be able to save our family. But we had no choice, and so we decided to contact Avi and try to save our family. Avi told us that he only sees parents if their das Torah sends them to him and commits to remain involved and to paskin for us every step of the way. Therefore, we reached out to Rabbi Yuman Eisenberg Shlita, and he told us clearly, follow everything Avi says, and Be'ezus Hashem, you will have atzlachim, beruchnis and begashmias. And Yiddish anachas from your son. And we will tanzen in einem of simchas. I asked him, what about my son's Yiddishkeit? And the Ruf told me clearly, if you care for his Gashmis properly, then the Yiddishkeit will come on its own. Just follow what Avi tells you. So we went to meet with Avi. Two broken-hearted parents who found ourselves at rock bottom. After being trained by Avi, we stopped treating him like a criminal, like an enemy, and we started showering him with our full unlimited support and acceptance. Almost immediately after implementing his advice, something amazing happened. Within a few short weeks, our home transformed from being a war zone full of stress and hatred to being peaceful and calm. We once again had a home. I wasn't scared to come home anymore. We started being able to breathe a little bit and become functional again. If that would have been the only thing that we gained from Avi, Dayenu, it would have been worthwhile meeting with him, but we gained much more than that. Baruch Hashem, with the help of Avi and his 24-hour support and guidance, we were able to make it through the difficult, dark, and painful journey. After only 6 months of following Avi, our son was able to feel that not only are we not against him anymore, but that we really love him and accept him. And at that point, we were zeicher to a miracle. He told us that he wanted to go for help. This is the genius of Avi's Mahalach. First of all, we cleared away the extra difficulties and struggles in his life so that he can realize that he needs help. When parents reject the struggling child, it makes it much harder for the child to ever say that I need help. Second of all, now that he came to this realization that he wants to go for help, he not only did not have his parents against him, but he now went into recovery with the full love and support of both of his parents. The people running the rehab told us that they have never had any addict in rehab that had parents like us, and that with all the support we give him, he has the highest chance to beat the odds against him. It's funny because they would never have agreed for us to do the things that Avi told us to do in order to have this relationship, yet they understood how important our close connection is for his recovery. Without Avi, I really don't know where my son would be today. I really don't know if he would be here today. Many kids struggling with what he struggled with are not alive anymore. My son knows many kids who were just like him, and they did not make it out of their pain, and they are gone forever. Baruch Hashem, we had a better end to our story. Baruch Hashem, today our son is clean from all drugs for over 5 years. He's now fully Shomer Torah mitzvahs. If anybody feels like applauding, you can applaud, but that's fine. He's giving us tremendous nachas, and we have our sweet, smart son back. He's an inspiration, and he always tries to help other kids who are struggling. He's fully connected to us, and we have our happy family back. And Baruch Hashem, he got married to a wonderful, from Eilicha idol girl. And they have a sweet, cute, adorable little boy. Adorable is the understatement. Rabbi said, this is the miracle of twisted parenting. But this miracle did not only happen to my family, it is happening to hundreds of families that are fortunate enough to find themselves under Avi's guidance. Since we all attend weekly groups together and functions throughout the year, I've seen the results of so many other families that came to Avi under terrible circumstances. And Baruch Hashem, he has over 97 kids today who are fully recovered and Shomer Torah mitzvahs Kenya. Many of you will hear things repeated about what Avi advises parents to do in order to save their kids' lives. And I've heard some Rabbanim and Askanim say things like, I don't agree with Avi 100%, or I'm not so comfortable with what Avi advises parents. What you need to think is, are you comfortable with hundreds of Yiddish kinderlich being buried because of suicide and overdose? Do you think that Avi is comfortable with giving the advice that he gives to parents? He's fighting a Magefa that is ripping apart Klal Yisrael and causing even the best, most prestigious homes to bury their children loyally. Comfortable? Do we need to be comfortable, or do we need to save their lives? The only important thing is to find the best mahalach for our families to have the best chance to save their child's lives. And Avi's entire system is built around Das Torah. Avi is the only person guiding parents who requires a letter from the family's highest Das Torah stating that the Rav will be actively involved to make sure that everything is done al pi Torah, and every parent signs a star that they will not implement anything without the Rav's full haskama. Indeed, Avi has received letters of praise and haskama from the Novominsker Rebbe Shlita, Zangezind, Rav Shmuel Kamenetsky Shlita, Rav Hillel David Shlita, Rav Eli Brudli, Rav Shimon Alster Shlita, and many, many more Rabbanim, which is posted many times on the WhatsApp so we can all check the haskamas. There are no words to express our Koros HaTov to Avi. It comes from myself and my wife. But I have to try to say what I can. I would like to publicly give Shevach V'Hador to Kodesh Baruch Hu for sending us Avi as a shliach. He held our hands through the darkest of times. And we were zoichet to witness an open miracle of Tchiyas HaMeis Mamash, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I would also like to thank my wife for being my rock throughout this entire Parsha. I will just end by thanking my dear son, my Ben Yochid, my pride and joy, my hero, Yonah, for allowing me to come here tonight and share our story with you. He agreed to allow me to share our journey because even if it will help save just one child, it would mean so much to the both of us. Allow me to close with my heartfelt personal tefillah to Hashem. Hashem Avinu Malkeinu, you know how much pain the suffering your children are going through. Please have Rahmanas on all your suffering children, those suffering from abuse, trauma, those suffering from emotional, psychiatric pain, and all of our lost Yiddish Kindle who deep down really want to find their way back to you. May all families in crisis be zoichet to see the complete refias and yeshias of their kids in pain. B'mahayim Anu.